Hi, everybody. Hey, Linda. Hey, Seascape. How you guys doing? Can you hear me? Hello? Just let me know. Hope everybody's well. It's really, really beautiful here in Southeast Michigan. It feels like summer. It's just gorgeous. Everything's blooming. So, can you guys see me? Can you hear me? Am I good here? Today is Thursday, April 24th. Hey, Kay. Can somebody tell me? Oh, you can hear me. Okay, good. Hey, Kay. Yeah, it's April 24th, 2025, and I'm live here with you guys. Hey, Finbar, how you doing? Yeah, hey, Linda. Oh my goodness. I don't even know what to talk about today, to be honest, but I thought, hey, Daniel, hi. I thought I'd come on anyway, because, hey, Carolyn, you guys can ask me questions. I mean, it's just been a weird week, and I think we're gaslighted so much. It's hard to tell what's really going on behind the scenes. Hey, George. Hey, from Washington State. Hey. Um, I have a lot of thoughts about it, and of course, I always talk to my guides about what the heck is going on right now. The energy is just so bizarre. If Oh, he is Daniel. I better go. I mean, leave the state. Oh my God, why is he coming to Michigan? What is the point? He doesn't think he has to run again, or he thinks he's going to just get the votes from, entertainment purposes only, Starlink, or, whatever. What the heck? Daniel, can you tell me why he's coming here? He's going to have a rally. It's already precedent. Seascape, you're asking here. I'll put you on the. Do you think there will be whistleblowers that start the ball rolling? Yeah, I think there already are. Just trying to figure out who is in charge and how. I know the Pentagon must be pissed off. And these guys are such idiots, like Hegseth. Um, I keep on thinking about South Korea's their solution to getting their president ousted. You know what I mean? That would be nice. Um, oh yeah, like that's really important for Trump. There must be some mega donors there. He would only go if he needed money, right? Um, yeah, we're getting worn down and that is the purpose. And I was thinking just before I came into the studio and went live, it's all about Project 2025. It's all laid out there for us, right? That's the playbook, and even including Signal, because that's in 2025, not to have any everything being on private phones, so nothing's recorded. Um, Destroying all the departments of government, firing all the civil servants, and then replacing them with people loyal to Trump. And I'm sorry if you can hear that. That's my generator, and in 2 minutes it'll go off. It's being tested. Yeah, Seascape. Hey, Michelle. I agree. Every time I ask my guides, they say it's going to be the military. The military is going to take him down. It's the military. And I see it like um, it being like a cluster of people being, however they're out of power, like Putin and Trump and, some others, just like these people just being taken out of power and like all in a short period of time. I still think that without Putin, Trump will deflate like, like a balloon, Putin's what's blowing him up. Hey, Brenda. Good to see you. Hey, Meg. Hi. Um, and I wish I could be precise about timing. That's driving me nuts. But that's not my skill. I see it. My guides say it's soon, but when the angels, when our spirit team sees something as soon, it's usually it could be a year, but I don't think it's going to be a year. I think it's going to be months, if not weeks. And my hope is it's going to be weeks. I just don't see how it can go on much longer. And also, you have everybody now triangulated and angry at Trump, even as I think I said on my other live, the Koch brothers. When you piss off the Federalist Society, the Koch brothers, the Heritage Society, what do you got left? What do you got left? They're the people who made you, they're of your ilk. So, what did you say here? You would think Pootie, Trump, and the rest of them are made immortal from darkness. It feels like that, and it can definitely narcissists, sociopaths. They have like a supernatural quality about them. Anyone I've ever met, they're just like they have a spidey sense. They're like tuned into to like your energetic field, so they can put out their fangs. They all have that feeling. Uh, okay, you're saying some have said that when Patton passes, Trump won't stick around much longer. Yes, I my guides tell me exactly the same thing. Wow, as they're somehow connected. Yeah, I believe they are connected. One takes the other down, and then I keep going to the whole like domino theory or whatever that is, but or it's more like I see Putin as the main octopus, and then everybody else like he's got his tentacles into all of these oligarchs, right? And I guess we would consider Trump an oligarch, just like any of the other oligarchs. And I was trying to explain this to somebody, so I decided to look up articles about it, and I did find an article on exactly how Putin um, got into power, how he got in control of the oligarchs, and how when he needs money, he'll take an oligarch out, literally. Either he'll take them out, like window side, or he'll exile them. Uh, and how I still say this: how can Musk, Bezos, any of the ones Teal who have um, bent a knee to Putin, not being considered an oligarch like the other oligarchs? They're all resources. They're all very useful to Putin, but Putin isn't going to repay that loyalty. And it was interesting, this article. I'll link it if I can find it. Uh, yeah, I'll be able to find it because I think I messaged it to somebody about how this whole thing works. And I just feel like all our oligarchs in this country are the same. They've all somehow been seduced by Putin, or a lot of the times it's about money. At first, it seems like the oligarchs will get unfettered access, to everything they want, power, probably international contracts, et cetera. But then they find themselves, because they have to tithe to Putin, right? They find themselves now indebted to Putin, tithe to Putin. Putin will take over, and then all of them are expendable to him. But I guess I'm saying that because I believe the ones we consider American are of they're all part of that group. What do you guys think? Oh, I'm reading the Christopher Titus. Oh, wait a minute. Where are you? Where did it go? There you go. I want to put your comment on here, Linda. Christopher Titus has a channel. Oh, he's so great. Saw last night he had a guy that worked with a group to prove the 2024 election was rigged. Oh yeah, they showed much proof. Is that one of the groups that's been working with Dennison? And I always mix her name up. Is it Jennifer or Jessica? One or the other, but she's amazing. Uh, hey, JC, you're here. Fantastic. Daniel, you're saying when a flower grows, you can't see the roots, but you know something will bloom. I think that is what's going on with the fake election. Something will come out. 100% believe that. It's just slowly. It's like, yeah, and it's a good season to. I have that analogy because things are slowly pushing their way out of the soil, and you're beginning to see what's there. Um, I I'm certain that Europe and Canada are like this has all these things because they've been so outlandish in our faces. Um, they're backfiring, I think, for Putin because I believe like Carney, that election, I'm sure that Musk was going to use his satellites there. There was a deal, right? And then that deal got quashed. And I'm sure now that, they're uh, like triple, quadruple checking the security of their elections, and that's not going to happen there. I do think that Carney will win, but we'll see. But I feel that very strongly. And I think that's with the help of all the chicanery, because Canada's not having it, when it's possible that they could have ended up with a very right wing prime minister. I don't believe that's going to happen. Um, so, what do you guys think is going on right now? It's just I try because in this we're all like that, but like psychically connected, right? And I feel the energy, and then I try to just um, rise above it because it's so dense. Feels so evil to me. What all that is about. But my guides keep on saying it's a spiritual battle, and they wanted me to tell everybody that, reminding them again, and that they see the future and they know that the light will win. The darkness will not win this battle. And if that means anything, however that's manifesting, uh, the dark will not succeed, or I say the dark, but I should really say the dense, the lower vibrational side will not win. That's what they say. Um, and I also want to say that people keep on saying this, oh, they'll never trust America again. And, we'll never be okay again. I, I try to shut that out because I don't believe that. I believe that if we um, got in Kamala Harris is my dream, and Tim Walz were given their rightful place, um, or whom a good Democrat or a good leader, yes, we would be trusted again. America's always been a democracy. Um, this is the first time we've ever, I think, had a coup. Except I do think 2016 was a coup too. It was just not such an obvious coup. But this time around, they kind of think about it because all the insurrectionists and the January Sixers and everybody, they're there now. They're in power. But so it's been a running coup. Uh, but it's not. I think the world will understand it's not America. It's Russia. Just like we understand, about other countries that Russia has taken over, or authoritarians have taken over. I believe that if we can right our ship, we will be loved in the world again. I think the world will have and has empathy for us. I think they know they know what's going on. They know that it's not democracy or America, whatever our brand is, that is at fault. It's it's like we're being held hostage. We have a gun to our head. That's what I think. So Jessica, thank you, Stephanie. Yes, Jessica Denson. Yeah, we really are under a lot of compost. But compost makes good fertilizer. So what do you ask in Seascape? Sorry. Do you think that the felon is doing the same with American oligarchy, breaking up Zuckerberg and monopoly, Pam Bondi suing them? Will they succeed? Oh yeah, they're going to follow Putin's playbook, but it's all going to end up going back to Putin. Trump wants to be Putin, right? But Trump is an oligarch too, and he's owned by Putin. But they're following Putin is really he's the one giving the orders, and that I truly believe. Going back to Hesketh and the Hesketh um, and Hegseth. Sorry, I'm sorry about that. Hegseth. And the signal that was I believe, just my personal opinion, entertainment purposes only. That was intentional. That wasn't a mistake. And it happened again. That it was to, and then all that we talked about that last week, I think. All that information immediately, the data being immediately via Doge, right, being sent to Putin. It's just like, yep, he has access, and all of those breaches are, I believe, they're intentional, and I believe again that was Putin and his lot, made sure that people in Trump's cabinet and Trump himself were following their orders and doing the 2025 playbook. Um, so, so do you think the felon is doing the same with them? Oh, wait, I already posted that seascape. I will think. Yeah, and I answered that question. Um, Daniel, you say a few psychics I follow say June is Trump's ending. We will see. Oh my goodness. Like what at the day of the parade. I don't want that parade to happen. What a waste of money. And remember the concerns the last time he was in, um, felon 45 slash 47 question. Yeah, the concern was that the tanks would destroy the streets. And I'm sure it's the same concern. So, oh, that's a good question, Finbar. How will we get back the money that the oligarchs stole from us? Allegedly stole from us. I say allegedly, but you know what I mean. Well, this is the thing in that article that I read about the oligarchs. I like to call them the oligarchs, but these are the technigarchs here. Um, so all this money, they talk in this article about how it's all like offshore, like that's where it's um, kept or laundered or hidden, in Swiss bank accounts and Cayman Islands, etc. It may be that with NATO so united and with the world so angry at Putin and 45 that they just freeze those accounts, and we can get that money back because we just take it back. Um, that's what I think could happen, especially if they're you know uh, it's discovered that they're committing high treason and they're um, you know in custody. Yeah, JC, that's true. Yeah. Oh yeah, they just will. I mean, it's. I hate the doom gloom. This will never be okay. We will never be all right. And because where do you go with that? And sorry, it's if it looks so dark in here. I'm sure it's the time of day. Um, I should invest in this. Like, I have different lights that I use, but I should invest in like a really bright one that you use at a photographer's office or something. Um, but yeah, I just don't want to get into that narrative because I think people use that narrative because it's a sensationalistic narrative and it sounds right, or it's something that you say, but I don't know what the proof is behind it. Like how would you know? People will celebrate. People will be just like, "Thank you, oh my God, we love America again. Finally, you got your democracy back. We're so happy for you." That's what the world will be saying. Um, Finbar says, I was thinking this morning that I need to change my thinking, that even though things feel bad in the fiber of my being, that doesn't mean they won't work out. Yeah, I've been going through the same thing, Finbar, just, and asking my guides when I'm clear and, feeling detached. And I'm like, I'm okay with whatever answer they give me, but they always say that things are going to work out. And it's just the time we're coming into. And this is a fated time. This is a reckoning, right? Like the judgment card in the tarot. This is a big reckoning time. And a lot of things are like they keep on like telling me things are under the roots thing. Like there's so much going on that we're not seeing. Um that like fifth dimensional chess that are playing out. that are going to oust this coup. Yeah, exactly. The world knows America hates Trump. Um, so I see the end of June, beginning of July is the time of 45 being exited. Uh, Up, yep. Do you understand why not one Democrat did what Jessica suggested? I don't know how that, I don't know. I don't know at the time. There was such mass confusion and gaslighting. I don't want to blame things on the Democrats because it's not the Democrats who've had this alleged coup. I'm not going to go there. I mean, Democrats aren't perfect, but they're certainly Democrats fighting for this democracy. I think they just didn't believe that the election could be broached, and they just went down that line. That was a huge failing, I think, just for our own security. But I don't believe it was in bad faith. I just think that we didn't. It's a Trojan horse, right? We didn't see it. We just couldn't believe it. And I'm not saying because I could, I knew right away. A lot of us knew right away, but it just our security, I guess, really felt so strongly that it was broached. It couldn't be broached. But the other thing that always comes into my mind, there are two other things. One is the states, because we don't have really like even elections like some states, Jim Crow, the result of Jim Crow laws and like losing votes, stealing votes, especially um, in red districts, even because things are localized. We just there were certain things that um, there was such egregious cheating that people didn't have control over it, and certainly. Hopefully, if the Democrats take power again, we're going to really like have a micro look at what really happened. Um, but that what we just via Jim Crow alone, right? 3 million votes or more were suppressed, and then you have what I believe happened, which was Starlink flipping millions and millions of votes. I believe, and that's what Jessica Denson's guests have said. That just if you looked at it, the demographics before the that infamous November 5th, and all of a sudden we had everything was tallied miraculously when that's never happened before. And somehow Trump won the red wave, and they just kind of froze it at the red wave. 60, the belief was that 60% or more of Democrats plus Republicans and independents, and Republicans, I guess 33% of Republicans had changed their party affiliation to Democrats, voted for Kamala. It just was a mathematical impossibility that Trump won. So I do believe that is the case. But we need to support the Democrats. I mean, and I mean, look at they want the things that we want, right? They're progressives. They're fighting for um, justice. They're fighting for equality. If you look at what the Democrats have attempted to pass or passed or what have been Democratic bills, or even with the economy, we are far better off in the hands of Democrats right now than Republicans. I mean, that kind of thinking. I don't know. I don't mean to jump on you up, yap. It's just a personal belief I have. Um, okay, I'll ask my guides, JC. Question: do your guides feel 45 will soon be gone, and Project 25 is? Oh God, my guides say yes. I'm using my pendulum. I don't know if you can see it. They will be gone soon. It's like it's like the Lord of the Rings, when Sauron goes, like when Putin goes. Everything. Do you remember the last battle? All the armies, all of a sudden they lose their power and they kind of like they fall apart. So yes, the guides say, and they think it's this year. But again, I already disclaimed regarding how I am with time. But they say yes, JC. Um, Daniel's saying we have to go through the bad to get the good. Just to look at the history of American Revolution. Yeah, that's true. I'll read that again so it's actually coherent if anybody's not able to see what you said. So Daniel says, we have to go through the bad to get to the good. Just look at our history: American Revolution, Civil War, World War One, World War Two, Vietnam. Yeah. Um, what are you asking, Finbar? What do your guides say, according to the larger perspective, about the sick ongoing stuff that started in the 20s and before, or in 2016, sorry, and before, if you consider Project 2025? Well, I've been always kind of looking at the history of this going back, I believe, to whenever Putin got into office, when the evangelicals started going to Russia, our various politicians going to Russia. Bernie Madoff, I believe, was, or no, not Madoff, Abramov, sorry, um, started going over to Russia and meeting with Putin, and the affiliation of the NRA with Russia. All of this has a defined history, and it was an overarching plan of Putin to bring down the US, to destroy our democracy. And he did that by aligning with and cultivating, and Trump, right? Didn't didn't some scholars say that he was allegedly um, recruited in the 80s? Um, so Craig Ungar, right? American Compromise. So, and I would challenge you guys to research too. There are really good articles about it that go back in time. And so on Substack, Michael D. Sellers, he's the guy, because he does that. He goes back in time and he writes a really comprehensive history of how this all occurred, from the beginnings of when uh, the Republicans, the oligarchs, Putin, the evangelicals also started having this relationship, and the NRA. But it's all traceable. It's all out there. I hope that answers your question, Finbar. Um, well, what would they have done, JC? Uh, What was the choice? I think the biggest worry they had was the Supreme Court at that time, because everything would have come down to the Supreme Court. And then as the Supreme Court had uh, ruled that Trump was the legitimate president, that would be it, just like with Gore. So I don't think that they felt that they had that. I think they might have now. I think, interestingly enough, if you look at the Supreme Court now, and because of the triangulation, and because of the tariffs, and allegedly how angry, or at least what I've seen, and I know that's the case, because there's a lawsuit that's sponsored by the Koch brothers, and um, Leo, who is the founder of the Heritage Society, which is affiliated, with the Federalist Society, against the tariffs. It's going to come up in court, and that lawsuit happened, and then a couple days later, 9 Supreme Court justices, when has that ever happened, voted against Trump, and now there's a good majority of 7 that seem to be voting against Trump. So I believe this the Supreme Court is not in Trump's control, but in the Koch brothers' control, and the Federalist Society's control, the Heritage Society, and others. And I don't think the Supreme Court is so solidly in Trump's court. So I'm just saying this. You could be right, and you have a right to be angry, JC. I'm just feel I was trying to think it out and talk with my guides. Yeah, that's what I believe. Thank you, Daniel. I just don't. I think they were in a hard place. Oh, I like that even better. Um, because then they could have really, if we had then had utter chaos, they were probably trying to avoid what is happening now, which was a complete destabilization of the stock market and the world economy and all of that, because there was there was just no way that they could be certain how it would end. I think that's probably why he was certified, because they had to have known by then that the election was stolen. Yeah, that's here. I'll put that up. And I think it's obvious that it was stolen. And I think that's why all these other countries are going to be or already have or getting rid of Starlink. And thank God that France has offered Ukraine their internet system. And as much as we don't like, I shouldn't say we. What am I talking about? As much as Bezos isn't exactly loved, right? um, he now has a competitive satellite system. And in my thoughts go, my guides say it's very possible that, and wouldn't it be ironic if, because we know that Elon thinks that he has those contracts with our government for Starlink, but what if like Trump just like knifes him in the back, theoretically or metaphorically, and gives those contracts to Bezos? It could happen. It could happen because I think Trump's. I still think that ever since Trump um, had ex Elon's kid, wipe a booger on his desk and tell him that he wasn't the real president. I think that was it. I mean, we did, obviously it had to play out. But I think that was a certain line that was crossed. But Trump is so vengeful. Let's not forget, and it wasn't that long ago. That's the thing. That's the Trump effect, right? Everything just feels like forever, like it's been years, and it's only been like, what, January, since January 20th. How many days is that? Like over, is it 100 or a little bit more than 100 now? So Putin has been in power since 2000. I believe I remember when Boris Yeltsin stepped down and handed the reins over to Putin. But the KGB were still active in the 80s, recruiting uh, useful idiots and American spies. All that stuff was still going on back then. Before then, so yeah. I know I said it probably started when Putin took over, but I know that it started before then because I've seen quite a few articles and in books and stuff about it. It's like Trump at least being recruited in the late 80s by the KGB. Um, the same K. Oh, I didn't know that, Daniel. Japan is helping Ukraine now with cybersecurity. So everything backfires. I think that's like what we're seeing now. This must be the time of like instant karma when everything is backfiring. Everything that they set in motion. I mean, even with Hegseth and all that, that's backfiring. That if you're going to do that, like that was your plan in 2020 for 2025. Yeah, let's keep everything on the down low. Only use secret phones. Now everybody knows, what is the point? Now that it's all out there. It was supposed to be secret. So years down the line, we couldn't find any proof of anything, right? But now that's a wash because they can't use, it's like it's spy versus spy. They can't use any of those plans because it all just comes tumbling out because they're all so stupid. Um, let's see. According to Jessica, 14th Amendment disqualified Trump, and um, it would have taken a two-third vote to not disqualify him. A vote from whom? The Congress or the Congress, right? Um, So I agree that it was messed up, but I think people were in shock. I think a lot of people believed, they didn't believe their eyes. There's a lot of gaslighting. It was just very confusing. And someday we're going to see the actual like what really happened. The books will be written about it, and we'll actually have a clear explanation. Oh, there was a fear of retaliation from unhinged MAGAs. Yeah, do you remember Kamala? Like, when was that calling all the Capitol Guard guard the National Guard to the Capitol? Like, remember she was on vacation and then she flew back and met with Biden, and that would be really interesting to know exactly what happened there. Sorry, so I know I shouldn't apologize, but I know it's kind of dark, but it's just shadow. It's the sun and shadow. Oh, thank you, Up Up. Yeah, it could happen. You're talking about like him getting the contracts. Why not? Because Trump loves to betray his loyalists. He loves it. Oh my God, that's his favorite thing. I'm not saying that they can't. There are things that they won't do. I believe in time. Oh, that's okay. I believe that at that time it was, I don't know, I don't really, I can ask, I ask my guides, but my guides just say there, it was just very confusing. They didn't have all the proof, and they were worried about the Supreme Court, and there was a problem with the states. Think about, um, but states like Alabama and Tennessee and Carolina, was it South Carolina, and how crazy um, it is there, and how tyrannical. And some of you may be living in those states, but the governments in the states themselves, and maybe they didn't have a maybe there's some issues there too. It was just a lot of moving parts. Maybe if could redo it, they would. But I think things will happen in the future. I think this information, I think it will be taken care of. I really hope so. What are you saying, Peg? Here, explore the consequences of election fraud and the importance of safeguarding the voting process for a healthy democracy. Source: Election Truth Alliance. So I don't know. I don't know. Woulda, shoulda, coulda. I just feel like, and you can talk to other psychics too. I think they felt the same way, that it just wasn't there. There were a lot of things maybe we don't know, and a lot of things that we just couldn't prove anything at that time. Of course, he's an illegitimate president. 100% agree. He's not even a president. He's just he's an authoritarian dictator who got there by way of a coup. So I don't know what to say. I just think that um, we can have a lot of anger about it, but we need to use it constructively. So what are we going to do about it now? I remember at that time, only 100 days ago, just how overwhelming all of that was, and confusing. But I always knew, just like probably all of you, that it was a coup. There's something really wrong with what happened, and that it just wasn't legitimate. So I I hope we're all hanging in there. Wow, and my guides have said this to me, and other psychics have said this too, that we have chosen this time to be here as incarnations, and there's a reason we're here. Every one of us is important to be here during this great time of instability, and we're all like dough or something. We're being proven. We're being uh, uh, it's a transformative time for us, all of us. Yeah, I love that. A cuckoo press. That's great, Linda. Yeah, I agree. Um, so let me see what my guides want to tell you. And I do have, as usual, an oracle card from the Sacred Force Oracle deck for us today. I'll read that in a minute. Let's see. What do they want to tell us? Oh, they want to go back. They want to go back to what JC was talking about, which was they considered all the options and the ones that, and we're talking about Kamala and Joe and the Democrats, but I don't think enough Democrats at that time were on board. Some wouldn't, some thought it was a legitimate election. They just kind of, it wasn't cohesive. Uh, and they just thought that for the stability of the world, they were very worried. There were threats. People's lives were on the line, I think, death threats against various important members of the government. And there was a lot going on behind the scenes. And in the end, they just couldn't, um, there wasn't enough cohesiveness, I guess, to or an appetite even then to use that amendment. I guess the problem with the Democrats is we're always thinking about the future. Like, okay, but what happens if the Democrats in power and then the Republicans do this or that? It, but they're still. Oh, by the way, did anybody see Joe speak? Did I talk about that the last live? He spoke at the Social Security Administration in Chicago. Uh, it was beautiful. If you missed him, and you can see him on YouTube somewhere, oh my God, it was so good to see him. I love him so much. And he's still alive. He's still out there. Um, let me see if I can get any other information. I don't know how coherent or clear I am about that right now, but not about Joe, but about what happened at that time. There were real valid reasons why they couldn't go forward with what they wanted to do, and it broke Kamala's heart not to go forward. But they're still working on it. They're still, and that's why they've been so quiet. They're still working on it. But they're working with NATO. They're working with Five Eyes. They're working. They don't. They're working on it. They don't think it's a legitimate government, and they know it's a coup, and they know everything. Of course they do, because they have all that information. And I guess there's some things we're going to be kept in suspense about, but things are happening, and my guides, and I apologize if I'm wrong because this is what I want, but they say that this government will not be, quotation marks, will not be in for long. He keeps signing these insane executive orders. The orders are only illegal if he declares a state of emergency on various issues. So he keeps something that, or hoping for that. I None of it's going to work for him. Things are against him. I don't know if you guys watch astrology, shows like Cosmic Owl and other ones, but his astrology is so bad. Things are not going to work out for him. And then you get his health, which is not good. And his judgment is so poor. The people he listens to, like Navarro, who wasn't Navarro in prison? Nobody mentions that. Nobody says an ex-con, ex-felon, Peter Navarro, because he was. That's what he was doing, right? Before he got out of the joint. But they're all potentially, they all either are felons or potential felons, everybody around him. But these choices are, even though because he only surrounds himself, I'm talking about 45, with yes people, sycophants. Nobody's showing him like the dangers anymore. He is just going down these paths that are disastrous for him, and it's like going off a cliff. It's like the fool card, yeah, and the little dog barking and saying, "Don't jump off the cliff," and he's just going to jump off that cliff. Since they didn't want to be seen like Trump Yeah, that's I think that's part of it too. We were so brainwashed and gaslighted. Not us, but the country. Because I never was, and I'm sure a lot of you never were. Um, and so what else? They say that the guides say they just see this government being toppled, and they want all of us to, whatever's happening, to not get caught up in the fear. They said this to me before, it's like a major inferno, and not to get too close to the inferno because you're just sucked into the inferno. We need to stand up away from it and look on it, and keep going for joy. And those protests they're talking about, just so joyous, and they are working. They're really, really important. But whether we go to protests or whether we just get involved in our spirituality or raising our vibration, self exploration, that's really, really, really important, as valid as anything else. And we need to do that. Um, so let me read our oracle card. Thank you guys, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much. What am I supposed to say? Oh, remember to give it to hit the like button, subscribe, helps me out in the algorithm. Um, and oh yeah, you can give me super chats and stuff, but when I'm on, I guess that would be more when I'm on YouTube. Or can you do it? I'm on StreamYard now, but I guess I'm doing it for YouTube. But you don't have to, so don't worry about it. Um, okay, so this is a card that we got. Can you see it? It's Eagle Spirit. I'll try to get it up as close to the screen as possible. Freedom. Yeah, the eagle, America. Do you remember when the eagle attacked Trump? That was so great. In the first 4 years. Oh my God. Um, this card indicates that it's time to break free and let your spirit fly. Be daring as you go beyond predictable behavior. Fling your arms up to the heavens in joy. This card can also appear when you have let life or others restrict your freedom. Recognizing this is the first step to reclaiming your power. Don't allow yourself to be trapped by convention or the expectation of others. The truth is that you aren't here on this earth to be ordinary, but to step beyond limitations and self imposed boundaries. You have the ability to choose your life on your terms. Perhaps you aren't always free to create the exact circumstances of your life, but you're certainly able to decide what meaning to give to those situations. Select meanings that empower you. For this is the time to break free. Hold the intent that boundless freedom surges through you, and so it shall. The eagle soars to great heights, as much as 10,000 feet, and has superb eyesight, allowing her to see from great distances. She might symbolize a need for a larger perspective on life. The spirit of the eagle says, this is the time to express yourself, don't hold back, choose life on your terms, don't be trapped by expectations of others. Soar like the eagle spirit, freedom. So we have we about 10 minutes left, or 12 minutes or something. Any other questions? Um, so you're all amazing people, and I, I hope wonderful things come to all of you through this difficult time to make it easier for you. And there are wonderful things happening and beauty all around us. They can't, well, they're going to try take that away from us, but they can't. Oh, I know what we could talk about. What about RFK wanting to round up, well, I don't, I'm not saying round up, I shouldn't say round up autistic people. or neurodivergent people, but he wants to register them. And I was thinking the irony that like Musk himself or Leon has described himself as neurodivergent, and all the things that RFK was saying apply. Do they apply to you, Leon? How do you feel about that? And how many on the very high spectrum of being neurodivergent to the point where you have, I well, I want to say also this with the whole autistic spectrum thing. I sometimes take um, what's the word? I don't believe. I think the whole spectrum thing is. I think a lot of people will describe themselves as neurodivergent, um, and not really fit into that category or be on the very end. I think it's just too wide. I think it just encapsulates so many people. And there used to be a diagnosis of Asperger's, and that was extremely accurate and useful in diagnostics for psychologists because it did describe um, uh, uh, people that they may have shared traits with what we call autism, but not necessarily considered autistic. So I don't know. It's a very confusing spectrum, but now RFK wants to, um, almost like the Nazis, he wants to like say they're imperfect and they're unable to hold jobs, unable to. Oh, it's totally. I don't know what he's talking about. That's what I'm talking about. This like wide spectrum. Children who might be diagnosed that who are um, on the very like I think the spectrum is something from severe, moderate to highly functional people. Yeah, on the severe end of that spectrum may not be able to do those things, may be very impaired. But then you have that the way that it stands now with that diagnosis. So many people who may be diagnosed that way with like high functioning autism are lawyers, doctors. They're out there working. They're in the government. I just don't get it. Like, what the heck is he talking about? RFK is nuts. So, what do you guys think about that? I just thought. Oh, and then the other thing he came up with is that yeah, he wants to ban all of the artificial dyes that are used in food, which great because I'm all for like healthy food, but I just think of all the companies that are going to like sue the government over that, like and all the ones that the so many of them probably big Trump donors, and Trump himself, like no Doritos. I'm sure there's plenty of dye used in them. Oh my God, he's an insane man. I don't see any comments. Are any of you still out there? You guys still out there? Hello. Hey, Brenda. Hey, Equus. So you have a question, Seascape? Ask away. Hey, Earth Mama. Hey, how are you doing? So we are not crazy. I think RFK might be considered just like weird. What the hell? Hey, Jamie. Hey, Nick. Good. I just think, what the hell are they doing? Don't they vet him? You can't just say something like that. Like, and you have to think about like who's. Oh, also, I think Congress is the one who's really supposed to make those um, pass those legislations, not an unelected bureaucrat like RFK. Hey, hey, Granny, I love you too. Oh yeah, do you wonder if like he uses 45 uses artificial food dye or red coloring for his orangeness? Whatever product he uses, it makes no sense. And 45 has the worst diet, the very worst. Is RFK going to come in and Junior just like totally, like ban, fish delight? Is that what he's going to do? Hey, Holly. It's just like one thing after another, and so much of it will get shut down. And I still wonder how many of those executive orders are actually, being processed. He signs them, but are they being taken care of? It's so chaotic there. Oh, I can't wait to see Saturday Night Live cold opening. I wonder what they have so much to choose from. So much. And then all the news about Elon or Leon crying and almost getting to a fist fight with Besant. Is it Besant in the Oval Office? I heard about that. Did you? Um, yeah, they almost came to fisticuffs. They had to be separated, apparently, allegedly, by a staff member. They were arguing about the tariffs. That's what I saw. The Oompa Loompa president, yes. How how are they going to? I think I don't know. Well, initially we were talking about a lot of us seeing the military taking them out because of their obvious collusion with Russia. We're watching it play out. We'll have to see. What was that question, JC? Sorry, I was on a rant, on a riff. What was your question? There's a lot of stupidity going on there, and then you have um, this is whatever. What's her name? Levitt, the Carolyn Levitt, the press secretary. Just I'm only following orders. I'm a good Nazi. I'm gaslighting you the best I can. And she looks like a dearest in headlights. Um, what is the question, JC? I'm looking for it. Yeah, Linda, I agree with you. Oh, the whistleblower. What whistleblower? Are we talking about the elections, JC? Well, give me a context. What whistleblower? I think there's a lot of whistleblowers, to tell you the truth. I think a lot of Doge are going to be whistleblowers, and there were whistleblowers for Hexeth, right, regarding um, Signal, and they're all coming out and doing the talk shows now. The guys who were kicked out, Tucker had him on. I saw. Yeah, I don't know. It's so much more bizarre and ridiculous than we can possibly imagine. It really is. So I'm sorry if I didn't answer your question, JC. I'm not quite sure specifically what whistleblower. I think, as I said before, I think a lot of whistleblowers are going to come out and already there, and like probably the Democratic committees and or the committees in Congress, and but yeah, I think things will come out. I do. So I love you guys. I'm going to go now, and I'll try to be back next week. I'm trying to think of what's coming this week. I mean, we've had Easter, Passover, Easter, whatever, Earth Day. I don't know. Maybe this is a week of kind of like nondescript events, but it's going to be bizarre on the Trump show. You can count on it. I love you guys. Bye, Daniel. Bye, Meg. Uh, yeah, everybody. I'll leave with what Daniel says here. Enjoy your evening. Please do. Yeah. Oh, this too, Jamie. Have a great weekend. Oh, that whistleblower, Lori, that revealed the Russian IP. And think about that. There's that Hexeth has a Russian email address. Okay, you guys, I am going to go, and I'll continue to try to answer your questions best I can. Save them for next week. Take care. Be well. Bye.